few people played a greater role than Ken Bates in revolutionizing and globalizing English football. During his controversial 21-year reign as chairman, Chelsea fielded England's first all-foreign starting 11, appointed a string of overseas managers and eventually sold to Roman Abramovich, the first foreigner to buy a Premier League club.
Yet as Chelsea's latest owners, Todd Boehly and Behdad Eghbali, appoint Enzo Maresca as their fifth manager in 2 years, Bates hates what English football has become. He told Sun Sport, "Most clubs are the playthings of multi-billionaire Arabs or, like Chelsea, part of American wealth fund portfolios, people who know nothing and care even less about football."
Football clubs used to be run by men like Jack Walker, who loved their local community. I met Jack once and said, "I'm very proud of what you achieved at Blackburn. I admire you immensely, but I wouldn't want to be you."
Read more. Chelsea NEWSTHREESY going Chelsea announce exits of 3 stars after Enzo Maresca's arrival. Wildtrack win an incredible Ford Ranger or £37,500 alternative from just 71p with our code. He asked why not, and I told him, because I wouldn't want to live in F***ing Blackburn. Bates offered me a rare interview in the Monaco tax haven. He and his third wife, Susanna, have called home for 20 years because he'd read a column in which I'd poured manure over the ills of modern football.
He sees me as a kindred spirit and, while I'm not entirely sure about that, a 2.5-hour lunch with old greybeard is an in-depth education and a glorious entertainment. At 92, Bates retains a sharp mind and an acid tongue. He swears like a docker and is spectacularly rude about most of the people he encountered in football.
Most read in football not gonna happen. Solskjaer misses out on Besiktas job as ex-Arsenal star lands move. 3 going Chelsea announce exits of 3 stars after Enzo Maresca's arrival. NOTT wanted Forest release 13 players including Ace who last played 3 years ago. BEN and Bon. West Ham announced 9 players to leave the club including fan favourite Casino Special. Best Casino welcome office. He sees himself as a working class outsider, always standing up for smaller clubs. After the scrapping of FA Cup replays and the lack of proper recompense for those further down the pyramid, he proposes that all 72 Football League clubs resign from the FA, a reverse of the European Super League, with the rank and file breaking away from the elite.
Jose Mourinho's iconic first Chelsea press conference. Bates says, they should persuade non-league clubs to join them and find out what the FA would do when their cup only has 20 entrants. But the EFL haven't got anybody with enough balls to do it. The FA is feckless and F***ing useless.
It's now 20 years since Bates left Chelsea, after serving a further 9 months as chairman following the sale to Abramovich. That deal was done within 48 hours of Bates even knowing who the Russian oligarch was.
But Bates soon disliked what the club became, and also decried Abramovich for appointing former Manchester United chief executive Peter Kenyon, who couldn't run ***ing egg and spoon race. He adds, it became a different club. The trouble is Russia is a communist state based on fear.
Licking the A*E of the guy above you and S-ting in the face of the bloke beneath you. It's crude but it sums it up. That's how Chelsea went. The culture changed. London-based Russians were using our executive boxes to discuss deals with Vladimir Putin.
Abramovich tried to buy Tottenham first but, Bates says, Spurs chairman, Daniel Levy always wanted a bit more. To understand Bates best, it is instructive to hear him discuss his 1982 takeover of a bankrupt Chelsea from the Mears family, who founded the club 77 years earlier, and aristocratic chairman Viscount Chelsea.
Bates recalls, "They told me, we've got 2 checks, one for the FA and one for the wages, which one shall we bounce?" I handed over a £300,000 cheque on the Friday. Viscount Chelsea then asked if I'd like to be their guest tomorrow for the match.
I thought, great, I'm being invited to attend a match at a club I've just bought. Knowing my place in the working class, I said, "That's very kind of you, my lord, I accept."
The next day 30 people were having a 4-course lunch. All the directors, their wives and kids. Champagne, wine, brandy, port, big cigars. I said, this lot said they couldn't pay the players' wages.
They were giving away 700 free tickets. I stopped the lot, making 700 enemies for life. One of the Mears family said, "My great-grandfather built this club." I said, "Yeah, and your father F***, edit up. You want tickets? Walk 50 yards and you'll see the ticket office."
Bates, a father of 5, with 15 grandchildren, 15 great-grandchildren and 2 more on the way, spent much of his time in football eating with people he despised. Like one disgraced FA exec who left his wife for a woman who was as fat as he was but was a vegetarian.
I was at dinner where they served his wife lamb chops, so he stuck the chops in his suit pocket. Or a colleague who was an arrogant B*******D with a snotty-nosed B****ch of a wife. I was at dinner where she was served the finest foie gras and she said, "I don't eat tinned meat."
He split up with her and said, "As long as I can keep the dog." Single quote. Bates was brought up by his grandparents in Hanwell, West London. Despite being born a cripple, with a club foot, he came close to being a professional footballer. I had 7 unsuccessful operations before a doctor walked past at Great Ormond Street Hospital and said he could fix it for £20 cash, and did. I was right-footed but not having any instep, the ball went everywhere, so I trained myself to be left-footed. I wanted to be a footballer. I didn't drink, smoke, or go with girls. When I was 20 I realized I'd wasted my ***ing youth. He got as far as Arsenal's youth team before a motorcycle accident, *****ed my knee, then made his fortune in business, owned Oldham Athletic and a major share in Wigan before buying a Chelsea side on the brink of the third division. Bates says, "But 16 years later we won the European Cup Winners' Cup on the smell of an oily rag.
That was under Gianluca Vialli, who replaced Ruud Gullit as player-manager and was succeeded by Claudio Ranieri. This when foreign bosses were rare in English football." Bates says, "Gullit spent too much time on commercial interests. I'd see him posing in black swimming trunks on the back of London buses.
I told him to stop playing. He said, I'll decide that." He was very arrogant. I said, "Yeah, and I will decide when I stop paying you." Meet Pep Guardiola disciple Enzo Maresca. Enzo Maresca is considered among the most exciting young coaches on the planet.
Born in Italy in 1980, he managed to guide Leicester to the championship title in his first season as Fox's boss. His management career started at Italian minnows Ascoli before he was snapped up by Man City in 2020 to manage their elite development squad.
He guided the youth team to the Premier League 2 title in his one season working for the Citizens, with Cole Palmer in the side. His first senior job was with Palmer, but he was sacked after just a few months after failing to impress.
Despite the team playing in Serie B and Maresca having an impressive squad, he was unable to get him on course for promotion. He returned to Man City and worked as one of Pep Guardiola's assistants for the 2022-23 season as they won the treble.
He took over relegated Leicester last summer and made an immediate impact, with the Foxes winning the championship title. Maresca showed his dedication to the job by living at the training ground for the first 2 months after his appointment.
H is considered something of a Pep disciple and has said, "For a coach, it's important to have the mentality of a chess player." During his playing career he played under Carlo Ancelotti and Marcello Lippi, and alongside ex-Brighton boss Roberto De Zerbi.
Vialli and Ranieri were favourites of Bates, who speaks with affection about Gianfranco Zola, Roberto Di Matteo, Celestine Babayero, Frank Leboeuf and Marcel Desailly, most of whom were part of that all-foreign 11 which played at Southampton on Boxing Day 1999. But he credits captain Dennis Wise for ensuring there were no cliques, insisting only English was spoken in the dressing room.
All that was a far cry from the Chelsea Bates inherited, which had hooligan and racism problems, with the National Front to the fore. Infamously, Bates put in electrified fences at the bridge, but the council wouldn't let him switch them on.
That story sees Bates remembered as an acolyte of Margaret Thatcher, the Prime Minister who declared war on football fans with a proposed ID card scheme, only ditched after the Hillsborough disaster. Bates says, "We'd had a pitch invasion and I was a farmer then. Cows St all over the place, St on tomorrow's breakfast. So you used electric wire to control them.
One of my guys said, "Why don't you use it on the fences at Chelsea?" People accused me of wanting to murder my own family and other bulls *T. Thatcher said hooliganism was football's problem. I said, no, football reflects society.
David Evans, a Tory MP, was chairman of Luton. They'd had Millwall fans rioting, so Evans tried to score political points with Thatcher by banning away supporters. Chelsea were Luton's next visitors. He banned away supporters and sent us our usual allocation for the director's box.
I gave the director's tickets up to ordinary Chelsea fans and didn't go myself. When Luton visited us, I banned the directors and invited ordinary fans into the director's box. Read more. Sun STORIESOFF track. Underrated UK theme park reveals 4 rides set to close this month. Bully Row deepens new twist in Strictly Bullying Row as first male celeb complains about Joe Pochettino's Chelsea record. Mauricio Pochettino had just started to turn Chelsea around.
An impressive run of end-of-season form saw the Blues leapfrog the likes of Manchester United and Newcastle to finish 6th in the Premier League, and earn a Europa League spot. But it wasn't enough to keep him in a job, as it was announced on Tuesday evening that the Argentine had left.
Here are all Pochettino's Stamford Bridge stats. Premier League 6th, FA Cup, semi-finals, lost to Man City. Carabao Cup, runners-up, lost to Liverpool. Total record, gains 51 wins 26 draws 11 defeats 14 goals for 103 goals against 74, and that's Ken Bates, at least Ken Bates' version of Ken Bates. An ordinary bloke who stood up to the powerful, the arrogant, the feckless and the ***ing useless.
Whether you believe him or not, he is always worth listening to.